Playing the stunt double of Steve Molesky today is Paul Mancano. Paul, thank you very much for filling in.
Absolutely.
It's Evel Knievel of sports TV here. What Steve Molesky would have talked about is these two fine young men who were just promoted to AAA Norfolk just this week. Gunnar Henderson, my guy. 5 games, he's batting .250 with a home run. 5 walks already, so that on-base percentage still impressive. And Jordan Westburg, very intriguing young man, 4 games. Look at that, 8 for 17, 5 extra base hits. Paul, these two are working their way up in this system real quickly.
Yeah, both of these guys have been promoted pretty much in lockstep. And you start on Wednesday with Gunnar Henderson. He was the first one to homer at the AAA level after these guys were both promoted together. We know that Gunnar has incredible power, and he has an incredible tool set as well. And then you also have Jordan Westburg, who is 3 years older than Gunnar Henderson, but he is an intriguing guy coming out of college and somebody who has an excellent tool set as well.
Big body, big body.
Yeah, 50 or 55 great tools across the board for Jordan Westburg. And like you said, 8 hits in his first 4 games. He could find his way up to Baltimore before Gunnar simply because he's older.
I love it that these kids, I call them kids, I'm sorry. These are 2 very athletically big guys. And I'm not talking about like awkwardly big. They're guys that look like they can handle playing in the infield for years to come. Guys that also can take a lot of at-bats for years to come because they're big athletic kids. And it just seems to be that's the MO for Mike Elias and company right now to get athletes.
And you build up the middle as well. I think it's fascinating to look at both Gunnar Henderson and Jordan Westburg, guys who were picked around the same spot in the draft 1 year apart, but radically different approaches with that pick. Gunnar Henderson was a high school bat. He was signed over slot. Jordan Westburg was a very accomplished college bat coming from Mississippi State. So to see both of these guys find success early is exciting, and it's also going to be fascinating to see how both of these guys grow and which one will end up having a longer major league career, as they have taken very different approaches with these 2 draft picks.
You and I are going to play GM right now. What boxes do you want them to check before they're promoted, and could they check those boxes by September for call-ups?
I think Gunnar Henderson's pretty easy. I think it's the ability to hit left-handed pitching, which he did in his first game with AAA Norfolk as he hit a homer there, because he did not have a very high batting average, under 200 against left-handers in AA. For Jordan Westburg, it's putting all those tools together. So while he does not have the flashiest of tools like Gunnar Henderson does, it's the ability to play quality defense at short, move over to second or third if need be. It's putting all of those quality tools together to become a very solid big leaguer.
I don't want to pigeonhole people or put them in a box, but if I could forecast the careers, I see Jordan Westburg as being that solid major leaguer that you put into the lineup, 145 to 155 games a year. He may or may not be an all-star, but he's a guy that you have in the lineup every day.
Yeah.
A good support player. I see Gunnar Henderson as being an all-star. I see this kid as being a star because he's very toolsy.
Yeah.
And he's not okay with his tools. He is potentially spectacular. I compare him, if there's another guy on this team that's like him, he's a lot like Austin Hayes. Different position, but I look at him as being like number 21, to be honest with you.
Yeah, he is incredibly toolsy, and that was the hype on him when he was taken back in 2019 as a second-round pick, as Austin Hayes walks behind
him.
Yeah.
That's why I said his number is not his name, because he was standing right there, but go ahead.
Exactly. And with Gunnar Henderson, it was the ability to hit that high ceiling. So far, he has accomplished that. We talked to him right before the season started about closing some of the holes in his swing, being able to get to some of the balls that are higher in the strike zone, because we know low and inside, he can crush those pitches. He actually worked on an interesting technique, hitting foam balls during the offseason to be able to get his swing up to the upper registers of the strike zone, and he has done that very well so far.
Now, we started talking about Austin Hayes, and this guy is, he's starting to feel it as a major leaguer. And it's a dangerous position to be in when you're him with that kind of talent. Dangerous for your opponents when you start to know, hey, this is what I can do with this. You had a chance to catch up with him, didn't you?
Yeah, Austin Hayes is a new dad, as in the past couple years. And, of course, Father's Day is coming up. He is very dedicated to his family, his wife Samantha and his 2 kids, Hayden and Levi. He is trying to spend as much time with them as possible. It's very difficult, the life of a big leaguer. You don't get to come home too often, and it's tough to move those young kids on the road. But I spoke with him before yesterday's game about looking forward to Father's Day and what it's like being on the road.
kind of be exhausting. Get a little break coming home next week, but then you're back on the road. How tough is it kind of these dog days of summer being on the road so much?
Yeah, it's kind of a love-hate relationship with the travel, because it is nice to get some extra sleep when I'm on the road, but I miss my family, I miss my boys when I'm on the road too. So, we just do a lot of FaceTime. My 1.5-year-old right now, he loves to just take the phone from my wife and run around, and I can just see from like here up in his eyes, he's just staring at himself on the phone. So we just do a lot of that when we're on the road, and just kind of take it day by day and until we get back home. But when we go on really long road trips, she takes the boys back to Florida and goes and visits her family and my family. So it's nice for them to get to be with our family members that we don't see that much during the year when we do go on long road trips.
And probably makes you appreciate the time that you get to spend with them even more when you're back home.
Yeah, exactly.
So obviously they're pretty young. Have they developed kind of personalities yet? Are you starting to get a sense of that, or are they still kind of in that age where they just don't really know much?
The newborn, not yet. He just likes to eat and sleep, and that's about it. But Levi, he's starting to get a personality now. He'll look at you and smile. When he's doing something he knows he's not supposed to do, and he'll wait for you to say something, and you're just staring at him, and then he'll just go ahead and do it anyway. And then, you like bark at him to stop, and he'll do like a boo-boo lip at you, like, and then run over and give you a hug, and then he wants attention. So it's just funny to see how he tries to manipulate your emotions. So it's funny getting to see him do that now.
Is that like you or your wife, do you think?
He's crazy. He's a climber, and my wife when she was a kid, she used to climb on everything. So I think he's more like her from that aspect. But trying to baby-proof our apartment right now is just out of control. You get one thing settled, and then 5 minutes later, he's on top of the stove. I don't know. Like, he just finds ways to get on top of stuff. So it's an everyday adventure with him.
Are you looking forward to Father's Day, being able to kind of experience that second or third Father's Day?
I think it would be my second. And then she was pregnant for the other one, but he wasn't here yet.
Gotcha.
But this would be my second one, yeah.
Gotcha. So looking forward to that kind of day.
Yeah, it's cool. Instead of just always getting something from my own dad, I actually get celebrated on those days now. So it's strange to me still. It's still early, but it's cool.
Who gets better gifts so far? You for your wife for Mother's Day, or your wife for you for Father's Day?
My wife. That's a
Right
gift.
answer.
She has a gift of getting good gifts for people. She's very good at that stuff.
Awesome. Thanks, Austin.
Yeah, no problem.
That's awesome. Number one, that's awesome. See him reminisce over watching him grow. I have 3. 2 I watched grow. The third one we adopted as a teenager. But watching that, you can see the joy in his face. I think the hilarious thing about all of that is Levi, when he's FaceTiming, he doesn't see Dad. He's watching himself on FaceTime.
Yeah.
You've got a problem, Austin.
Yeah, at that age, I think it's hard for them to understand exactly how the FaceTime works. But yeah, awesome to get to know kind of Austin Hayes behind the scenes, because we know he's having an incredible year at the plate and in the field. He's got an incredible arm in the outfield, so he's putting it all together. And to see him grow and mature from where he was when he made his big league debut back in 2017 is remarkable.
And that's the great thing about when Mike Elias got here, he said the R word, he suggested the R word of rebuilding, and you get claustrophobic if you're a fan. But on this side of it, you watch these young men grow as baseball players, man. To see Cedric Mullins go from a guy that was gone from major leagues to Double-A back to 30-30, to watch that happen, to watch the maturation of Austin Hayes. I think Tyler Nevin is maturing before our very eyes. Over and over again. Tyler Wells, Rule 5, back of the bullpen. Now, come on, man. It's fun. It's not fun losing games, but it's fun watching them grow.
Absolutely. And you mentioned Mullins and Hayes, both guys that have had bumps along the way.
Yeah.
We know that Mullins was sent all the way back down to Double-A when he was in 2019. We know that Hayes has dealt with injuries over the year. It hasn't been smooth sailing for both of these guys. Not every guy is Adley Rutschman, where he'll make his big league debut and then he's there to stay. Some guys take a little bit longer before they hit their ceiling, and so to see both of those guys in the outfield together, finally putting it all together, is incredibly exciting, knowing that the heavy hitters like the Orioles' top 10 prospects are on their way.
Well, Paul, it's been a pleasure working with you these 4 games. We never worked together this much. It's been a pleasure, my friend.
It's been a joy.
Watching it up close and personal, watching these Baltimore Orioles in Kansas City. Thanks a lot.
Thanks so much, Rob.